Today we're looking at delegating and outsourcing. Some people want to carry all the business on their head. So we're just basically going to be giving you some tips on how to manage all of that and not kill yourself in the process of running a business. We're going to be discussing that and more. But meanwhile, please, we are taking your pain points in your business. You can send a message to 0818 008993. That is 0818 008993. You can comment on any issue we have discussed. You can also send us your business pain points, the issues you're having in your business that you would like us to address one way or the other. Some people are not running businesses. We don't have a lot of CEOs, but we have a lot of people that are working in places and they have some challenges that they're dealing with, maybe going up the ladder and all of that. Can they send in such messages?
Yes. As long as you're professional, whatever that means. Yeah,
okay, so please, if there's anybody biting you in the office that you want to you really need advice on how to deal with that, I am speaking from experience. It's not in this office though, before my bosses come and chase me. Let's go on the break. We'll be right back, please. Welcome back. We are here live in the city of Lagos, and it's the 22nd of June is a Thursday. We have like a few days to go into July, and you know that what comes with July is people planning to travel, people planning to do lots of stuff, and people are basically setting up their business, to run on its own automatically before they leave, and trying to put one or two together, especially since our goals, our what do we call that goal again that we do at the beginning of the year?
What?
Our resolution goals.
Yeah.
Exactly. Especially since we're getting to the first half is about to close, and we're looking at our goals and we're like, oh my God, especially since this 1 month started. It's as if everyone just paused on their goals and is trying to look at the country to understand where they stand for now before we start looking at goals. But then we'll be fine. We'll be fine last.
On a lighter note, how many people are planning to travel? 95% of Nigerians have not been on a plane. So who are you? See, when you see Ajabotas in the studio, SAC, some people are planning to travel. How many people are planning to travel?
Wow. I am speaking for the trenches right now. Yes.
Who's summer? What's summer?
I am from there.
We have dry season and rainy season in Nigeria. There's no summer, winter. Why do we even get all this? I think all this post-colonial blues and fear of missing out actually needs to stop. What's summer? Like, Nigerians don't do winter and summer. You're talking about the 1% of the 1% of Nigerians that travel.
Have you been on social media? Are you seeing what's happening?
Everybody's forming.
Because I used to think that Nigerians don't. I'm saying, sister, brother, this is how did this happen? This is not normal. But then it is what it is. Lagos, jokes aside, please, we're here for business, and today we're looking at delegating and outsourcing. By the way, this is the business show brought to you by Hexavia, and Hexavia is it's a business consulting firm where we basically restructure your business. So far, how many business do you have on your portfolio again?
I've done over 140 already.
140
restructured businesses, and over 200 started. Right?
Yeah, see? And we are still moving. So get your business on board and let us get it running. We have breakfast sessions.
Yes, we have a breakfast session for the 8th of July. Yes, seats are filling up. Amazing stuff. We did a change of a bit of the model. So now it's a referral only. So you have a CEO who's doing amazing to you. You want to give him a ticket. You have a distributor, an employee who's done well. You want to give them a ticket. So that's the model. Okay.
So for us to get in our people in there, how do we do it?
Yeah, you just need to refer someone, and then or refer yourself if you think that. But if you're going to come in, you have to have a business that at least has 10 staff, because we really want to start changing how Nigerians run business from the people who make the decisions, the CEOs. And so if you're a CEO, a director, you could always send interested to come to the breakfast session. It's at a co-hotel. It happens once a month. So the July one is 8th of July. Just say interested to the number 08035202891. Just send a text and say 08035202891.
You're saying the number as if you don't want us to send it.
Say interested. If you want consulting, you want to attend the Breakfast CEOs Roundtable, to 08035202891.
Okay, while the messages are pouring in, let me also repeat that we are taking business questions. If you have any pain point in your business, or you're at work, you're a professional, and you are having some challenge with getting noticed, you would do some work and somebody would take your shine because the person is your boss, or somebody is just the person is just on your case. You're trying your best and the person is just haunting you one way or the other. Or you have a business and you're dealing with marketing issues. People are not seeing your goods. You have tried, the market is saturated. Whatever the business challenge is, let us know. We can prefer solutions to that. And it's a promise. We can do that if you allow us to do that. Okay? The number is 0818-00-89933. Now we've talked about the topic we're discussing, so let's just get into it already.
So I think the why, when I think of myself when I go to work, I like to, what is mine is mine. Let's say I ask somebody to do something, they did not get it done. Somebody will not come and look for me that why didn't it happen? So what is the advantage of, especially as a CEO, your duties, are your duties? I guess there's small things that you can give to other people, but why is delegating a solution? Or why is it a superpower? To me, it's the ultimate kryptonite. So why would you consider delegating or outsourcing a superpower?
That's how you don't like to understand when Efiko is talking. Those people that cover their work in exam and don't talk to people. That's and I think people don't. Funny enough, as strange as it is, and that's why the most intelligent people actually don't become the most successful people. If you think about it, right? I've always said that intelligence, like playing basketball. To play basketball, you need to be tall, but you can get to a height in basketball where it becomes adverse to playing good basketball. Right? So if you look at the greatest basketball players like, say, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, and even the likes of LeBron James, they're not exactly, okay, LeBron is quite tall. They're not very tall basketballers. Majority of the best basketballers. So in other words, you can be too tall to play basketball. So sometimes you can be too intelligent to succeed, right? So one of that things, for example, you see the Ficos that stand in front of class, they're not great team players. That's why they stay in front of class. They don't talk to other people. And people graduate from school and carry that mindset and mentality. You don't want to share, where the main work is collaboration. You see those guys that they're asking guys to the left. I'm not promoting exam malpractice, but those guys that ask to the left, to the right, they add 3, 4 brains and they write. And my colleagues looking at me because we made a first class, I think, in accounting. Yes, they're looking at me like, okay, what's going on here?
What's happening
right, but you see, but let me tell you what's funny about it, right? It's a amazing superpower to know that you can get more done through others. You see that thing that people say, oh, you want to get things done, do it yourself. It's actual average thinking, right? So why should people delegate or why should people outsource? My father, they're very alike, and I want to explain them as time goes. Is because everybody has a superpower and nobody has all the superpowers. So why don't you be the guy who takes advantage of other people's superpower? Know what you're good at and know what you can never be the best at. And then for things you're not very good at, there's something called willful blindness. The things you are willfully blind to so that you can succeed. For example, when you see a wife that they married and she says, and the things that our culture does to us that is anti-growth, like how African families train their daughters to cook and clean and say they're preparing them for marriage. So average on the street, they say wife material. When somebody's wife material, I mean she comes, she cleans, she cooks. How valuable is that skill really? That cooking skill is like 120K chef salary a month. The cleaning skill, and on the street, 40K, people come to us and clean. That's what you're training your whole child on. And then that lady comes into life as a married woman and doesn't do much for herself because she's cooking and cleaning and 10 years has passed. Right? She could have done more. Willful blindness is for you to know that you can hire a chef and a cleaner. Right? Like, let me downgrade and say cook and a cleaner, or somebody from the village, so it doesn't have to be very premium, and they can build other things that are important. That's delegating, right? I mean, I hear people say, oh, what are you passionate about? And ladies, I like to wash clothes. Or, madam, go and buy a washing machine, right? That's not a skill that is valuable. And a lot of people do this also in business. So what are you good at? Let me give a practical example of this. I love to drive, right? I'm not sure when last I drove during the day for years. Not something I do. And I realized that the most productive things I do is when I'm sitting at the passenger side and working on my phone, sending messages, but I probably would not have done that trade-off. So delegation is the art of getting things done through others, so you can concentrate on the things you're good at, right? And for a CEO, the things you should really be good at is networking. and strategy. I was telling somebody yesterday, I mean, Bill Gates spoke at a tech event yesterday. Bill Gates been in Nigeria, right? And I was telling someone that, Dangote brought Bill Gates to Nigeria. We all know that story, right? Dangote brought Bill Gates to Nigeria 2 times now. I think 2 times, yes. The first one was his daughter's wedding. I mean, that's just some high level stuff. When you bring the richest man, one of the richest men to your daughter's wedding, you know, and something just hit my spirit. Like, since Tinubu became president, I've seen Dangote with Tinubu 3 times. So my point is, at what point does he do Dangote's work that makes him the richest man? And the answer is, he doesn't have to do the work. It's delegation. His work is to clear out all that space so that he can network. Because we're the biggest. Well, I mean, the vibe that Tinubu is giving is, you know, we're trying to just basically just float. Tinubu is trying to float everything, like literally not just float Naira. You know, if you can, now I said you can import fuel, you can do this, and that is a threat to somebody who, for example, is building the world's biggest refinery. He has to draw closer to power. I mean, whatever. I mean, this guy basically came to talk about healthcare, right? So that's the commission Bill Gates came to discuss. But it was important for him to always be in front of the people that matter, and that's his work. But if he had to sit in the office every day in his nice marble house or corner piece as Dangote chairman or president, he won't be able to do that work. So I think the key thing about delegation is willingly being blind to the things you're average at, outsourcing it so that you can concentrate on other things. So delegation and outsourcing are very alike. Delegation is getting things done through others in your company. Outsourcing is getting things done through others outside of your company, right? So I think that's pretty much pretty much the difference.
Do it.
Yes, you're not the best at people who are the best at it, so you can concentrate on the things you're good at.
Okay, so what are some example of some great brands that we can see this from, so that we can literally learn from them? Okay,
so when I give example, Nike. If I say, what's Nike? One of the most recognizable brands in the world. I mean, everyone knows the Nike sign. So what does Nike do? You'd say, oh, Nike produces shoes, clothes, right? I'm like, no. Nike, for me, is one of the best marketing companies in the world. Nike doesn't own any factory that produces shoes or clothes. People don't know that, right? That's why when you look at your best efforts, one Nike shoes, right? If you look at under it, you see made in China, right? That's ideal outsourcing, right? What Nike really does best, right, is to connect people with their heroes in sports and ensure that once they think of those heroes, they think about them, right? So you're going to Jordan. Jordan is a hero, right, in basketball. And once you think of Jordan, what you think about naturally is in Jordan Nike Airs, right? And they do that with almost every other thing. So their main work, if you ask me, is marketing and motivating people.
So what are some key functions that we can delegate? Are there some things we can't delegate? What are the things we can delegate and the things that we can't delegate? Okay,
so if you ask me, I think all the functional part of your business you can delegate. So funny enough, right, the guy who runs I'm trying to use example. So let me give an example. Walmart, right? Walmart is one of the biggest retail stores. Walmart doesn't own any warehouse, and Walmart doesn't also own any logistics. Matter of fact, that's the model that Jumia is using. Right, every time the Jumia guy delivers stuff to you with a Jumia bike, right, that guy doesn't work for Jumia. Even though everything's branded Jumia, he doesn't work for Jumia. The pickup point and the drop-off point is not Jumia, even though it's branded Jumia, right? So that's to tell you that if a whole Jumia as a retail brand doesn't do that, so what did they do? They delegated first of all of their support services. So the first thing you need to delegate your support services. Support services are the things that are the back end of your business. So every business has front end and the back end, right? So for example, in Hexavia, a front end would be management consulting. Our back end is all the supporting activities, like this radio show, for example. I mean, let me give a good example. SA works, comes here, but doesn't work for Hexavia, right? Because I'm sure our skill set in Hexavia, whoever is Hexavia, so why bother to want to create that, right? That's a practical example, because your first 1 million your first people that make between the 1 million targets in Nigeria, and pay attention to this, there are 3 sets of people in life. People that live in Nigeria, people that live below 1 million. 90-something% of Nigerians live below 1 million naira a month. I mean, if you earn 1 million naira a month, you're a big boy in Nigeria, right? 1 million majority. Then people that live between 10 million, people that make between 1 million to 10 million. And then the third category of people that make 100 million, right? I'm sure most people don't even know people that make 100 million a month, but there are people that make 100 million a month. Now, the difference between them is the guy that makes below 1 million is trying to live life based on hard work. The guy that lives between 1 million and 10 million is smart work. But nobody made 100 million or makes 100 million in Nigeria by hard work or smart work. They actually make it through strategic partnerships. Like extreme strategic partnerships. There are people who, I was talking to someone who runs one of the biggest, it's a very funny commission to have, so I'm just very careful. And he actually produces a chemical, right, that literally every major person in this country uses in production. Right? He doesn't own a factory. He just brings them in. That's strategic partnerships. Right? So always remember, your first 1 million made by hard work, your first 10 million by smart work, but your first 100 million is strategic partnership. So if you ask me, it's you looking at your business and saying, what's the front end and my back end? If I know my front end, I outsource everything that's my back end. The guy who owns a restaurant, what's your front end? Your front end is cooking food, right? And serving people at the counter. If you're a QSR, quick service restaurant, like the place and Mega Chicken and them, that's their main work. Now, every other thing that is not that can be outsourced. Your accounting, get an accounting company, right? Who comes in maybe once a month. That first trains one person who's not an accountant to take records, and then comes in once a month. You outsource your accounting. So remember, the question is, what are the functions you can outsource? First, if you're not an accounting firm, you necessarily don't need a finance and account person at certain level, right? Marketing, right? Outsource your marketing if you can, right? Every time you call MTN, call customer care, and somebody picks up and say, hi, you're coming to MTN, blah, blah, blah. That person, chances that 90% of the time doesn't work for MTN. The people who you call in customer care for MTN don't work for MTN most of the time, right? It's some customer service company that's outsourced by MTN. Like, you look at the masts, sometimes they're not even owned by MTN. So outsource your logistics, one, outsource your accounting, outsource your marketing, so you can concentrate on the core of your business. Even, except you're a lawyer, you run a law firm, right? You don't necessarily need to have a lawyer in your team, right? As you grow, yes, maybe you might need that, but at some point, matter of fact, there's a level you grow to in your business that even what you produce is outsourced. Apple has 1 billion phones in circulation. They don't own a factory. If Uber was to own all the cars that are on Uber, they would not be in more than one state, talk less of almost all the countries of the world. Right? So that's pretty much how you should think.
Wow, we have been educated today. I think that's the push that we need. And those are the kind of things we want to hear in a time like this, that yes, it's possible. We should be thinking in the right direction other than weighing ourselves with all of the big and major activities that is being done. So this is that time that we are going to be taking the business questions. We have a couple of them. So I'm just going to read them through. Okay. Emeka from Ikeja says, hello, Izu, Daisy. Okay, hi, Emeka. I run an FMCG and gadgets pro function and distribution brands. And most recently, I am not able to stay afloat due to competition, especially with those big budgets for advertising. What do you suggest? Okay, so his business is not doing well because of big budgets for advertising and so many other stuff. Yeah, so what does he do? He says, how can I meet up with you for a session with my team? Okay, so 2 questions. First of all, how does he meet you up? And secondly, how does his business stay afloat? Just very quickly.
Okay, so first thing first is, I think a lot of people concentrate so much in the center. Center of anything is the most dangerous place to stay in anything. Center of the express is the most dangerous part to stay, right? Anything basically. So, and except you're big enough, don't stay in the center. So it's like you sell spaghetti or you produce flour and you want to stay in the center of Lagos. Do you have Bua and Dangote's money to fight that fight that they're fighting? Right? So what you do is you leave the center and take the edges, right? So let me give a good example. You sell gadgets. You go to Computer Village, maybe say earphones and power banks, right? You see New Age everywhere. You see Oraimo everywhere. Why do you want to be there, right? Have you thought about the edges of Lagos, like Badagry, like Ekpe? You go to, I was talking to someone about, I think it was Money Point or OP or one of these guys. When OP and Money Point came, What these guys did was to leave the center for the big banks, First Bank, GT, Access, Zenith. They took the very uncontested markets, right? While GT, Zenith, UBA, Access were busy giving POSs to people who had established businesses, right? The restaurants, the big plazas, the big, they left them. They went to the market women, who some of them didn't even have a bank account, right? That's what you call uncontested market, right? Because if they went to fresh people, everybody was going to the guys that wore suits in offices to say, oh, you need a POS. But they saw those people who we take for granted, who move volumes. Like, you go to like Balogu market, those women who bring in textiles, who some of them don't live in, some of them are 3 generations. So my point here is uncontested markets. So uncontested markets can be in terms of geography, right? That's just taking the edges of places. Matter of fact, I was telling someone that while you're trying to sell your product in Lagos and in Abuja, right? Somebody else has gone to Niger. Niger is a 25 million people population, right? There are no known major brands in Niger. Matter of fact, if you know what's funny, you go to Niger and you probably see that if anybody's eating noodles, or it's probably Indomie, or if anybody's eating spaghetti, it's probably flour mills, golden pennies. Those things we produce in Nigeria. Why don't you set up a small factory in Niger and take that market? Right? Because before the truck will do 3 hours or 4 hours from Castina or Kano to Niger, they share boundaries. So that's really how people should think. Like, a good example of this, and it's not the most perfect example, is what terrorists do. So terrorists look at the country they're trying to attack. And I'll give a good example like the Boko Haram and the ISWAP. They look at it. Boko Haram doesn't have the type of military power. Think about it. Leave corruption to go head to head with Nigerian military. But you know what those guys did? They look at the edges of where the military are not, and then they infiltrate those places, and they stay there. Right? So they go to certain villages and that's really what people should do. So my answer to him is very straight, simple. Leave the guys, right? I know one time I had this client who was selling desktop chargers. After a while, people stopped buying desktop chargers. I mean, who buys desktop chargers? You know, those chargers to bring out the battery to put in. Nobody brings out battery. Most phones now, you can't even bring out the battery. I mean, if it's an iPhone, you can't bring out the battery. So he had warehouses full of these chargers. Warehouses, like millions of chargers. And I just said, wait a second. Have you gone to Jigawa, Castina, Ebonyi? Those guys still use the kind of phones that use those type of stuff. So this whole plenty grammar speaking is called guerrilla marketing. Right? So leave where the crowd is. Leave the center. Right? And go through the edges. Same as, and you don't have the geography. I know someone that was struggling with doing clothes for women. And then he stumbled upon data that showed that, I can't remember, 1 point something million women are pregnant every month or something like that. He just shut down doing clothes for anybody else, just pregnant women. And you know what was funny? When the girl once started, you know what she asked me? He said, Izu, do you know any known brand for pregnant women? Like pregnant women still want to slay. They still want to look nice with their baby bump and all that, right? Nobody was doing anything like that. It was like what my client Rough and Tumble did. Nobody was taking a brand for children. Funny enough, people spend more money on their children's clothes than on themselves.
Okay, we need to take other questions. We don't have time. Just the next question. I'm a founder of a chain of food retail brand, and recently a lot of people have been complaining of product quality. And since I can't be in all the areas, what do you suggest as a solution? I think you've already answered this question.
With this first one?
Yeah, you've already answered this second question with the first question.
I think this one, for
okay,
people
this
that
is
run
product
retail
quality.
chain,
Okay.
product quality. So retail chains, when you run a retail chain, right, don't think that, or you run whether retail chain in terms of you own all the chains or you're franchising. Don't think what you sell is the product. What you're selling is consistency. And this is like my specialty. I've built so many brands and been part of so many brands that are retail, right? I mean, look at what iFitness is becoming, right? So whoever thought that you could have one gym membership, right? That gym membership gives you access to 20 gyms. So if you live in Agor Palace Way and you work in Lekki Phase 1, right? You can actually, in the morning, and you want to work out morning and after evening, you can actually work out in Agor, Festac, and in the morning and in the afternoon you work out in Lekki Phase 1. If you're even stuck in traffic in between in Bagada, you can stop by in Bagada to work out. That's genius if you ask me. Right, one membership that gives you access. But I will not say that iFitness sells gym. I would say that they sell gym, but more importantly, consistency. So our challenge is consistency of taste and quality. First thing you need to do is do a root cause analysis of the thing that affects the taste difference. So I like to crack this joke. Every time you go to a Chicken Republic, right? Or let me even say McDonald's, like American brand, and you find out that what makes all their food taste the same, or even Indomie, is the sauce. If you want to know what makes Indomie taste like Indomie, is actually the sauce. So you find out what makes your business, your product tick. Then you centralize that while you retail every other thing, right? So one of the key things I think he would do is look at, maybe if it's food, the stew can be centralized, and then every day he delivers the stew to all of his retail stores. But they cook the rice, the chicken, the everything else, the sauce into that. I think, but it's deeper than this. SOPs has to be created, structure has to be created, which brings me to the second question: how can he meet us, right? So I think that if he's interested in talking to us, send interested to the same number, right? Interested, just say interested, or interested for consulting.
Okay. You know what? We have taken the questions that we have so far today. Thank you so much for sending in your questions. So let's just talk about how people can reach you and how they can be part of what you're doing.
Okay, so if you want to reach us consulting, want to attend our classes, you want to have a session, just say interested, right? Just chat us up on the number 080 35 202891. Say that again, 080 35 202891.
All right. So those are that is the number that you can use to reach Izu if you want to be part of the breakfast session, or you want to suggest someone that should be on that breakfast session, which I would definitely advise that everyone should be part of. Today we have learned a lot, and we have learned to position ourselves in. Thank you so much, Lagos, for joining the conversation. This happens every single Thursday morning at 9 a.m. At some point we take. Okay, should we open the phone lines for calls?
If we have time, I think we
don't have so much time. But then, in case you wanted to call 0818 0089933, that is 0818 0089933, or 0818 242 6591, 0818 242 6591. That is the number that you can call in the studio, so we can have your thoughts, so you can have your questions. Hello, good morning. 0818-242-6591. We really don't have so much time, so we just have to wrap up now. But this happens every single Thursday. Thank you so much for joining us. Essay, thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you for having me.
Every single time. And Izu, thank you so much. What's the plan for the weekend?